As educators, we are constantly asked by parents, when will my child be able to walk? Why is she not talking yet? Are other children his age talking yet? Why doesn't she want to use the potty? And what is our standard answer? Every child is different, and that is no lie. This diversity means children develop differently, and the way we teach will largely depend on the individual child's ability and readiness. In fact, some things are totally out of our control and was determined even before birth. The aim of this 10-minute presentation is to provide an overview of child developmental characteristics from birth to 12 years of age, theories of development, and the implications for us as educators. Although there are other ways of classifying developmental domains, we will discuss physical, cognitive, and social-emotional development. Child development is complex. These domains should be viewed as interrelated, as one affects the other. However, for simplicity, we will look at them individually. Physical development has to do with the physical body, its biological functions and changes. This largely depends on what we are given by our parents. Cognitive development refers to the child's ability to reason, recall, and convey information. This can be learnt within families, schools, and community. Social-emotional development are changes in emotions, self-concepts, motivation, social relationships, and moral reasoning and behavior. Usually, this is shaped by who we hang out with. Let's take a journey through the developmental stages from birth to 12 years. Infancy. This is the mere years of how their body works. Parents and educators provide much attention as children are less able to care for themselves. Physically, children are doing all sorts of wonderful things, such as reaching out to grasp an object, transferring object from one hand to another, letting go of objects, sitting, crawling, standing, walking, squats, climbing stairs, throwing, kicking balls, propels on ride on toys, turns pages, builds towers, scribbles, drinks from a sipper or a straw. Cognitive development includes distinguishing faces and voices and tones, uses hands and mouth to explore objects, has favorite toys, responds to his or her name, interested in pictures, music, singing, babbles, coos, and imitates sounds to communicate, uses simple words like mama or dada, points to a certain body part, shows frustration if not understood, recognizes own image or photographs. Social-emotional development. He or she will cry when hungry or uncomfortable, looks at faces and makes eye contact, recognizes familiar routines, likes to play simple games like peekaboo, helps pack away toys, shows a sense of humor, and defends possessions, and imitates adult activities. Educators need to provide a physical environment where children can move around safely and explore, and provide activities that is sensory rich as they learn about the world around them. We need to create and nurture the bond between child and educator, whilst being mindful that children often communicate non-verbally. A hug can mean I love you in their world. We need to respect their independence by providing individualized and responsive care. Early childhood. Children at this stage are more aware of objects and people surrounding them. They start moving from inward to outward. They are more able physically and become more sociable. Physical milestones include running, balancing on beams, standing on one foot, climbing outdoor equipment, bouncing and kicking balls, jumping forward, backwards, sideways, skipping, galloping. They also use proper pencil grip, scissors, unscrew lids, and turn doorknobs easily. They are able to self-dress, wash hands, and toilet independently. Cognitive development may include drawing circles, own name, and objects. They have concept of size, colors, letters, and opposites, and can generally follow 2 to 3 step direction or instructions. An increasing use of past tense and verbal expression, and they understand cause and effect, being able to distinguish between fantasy and reality as well. And they can associate letters with sounds. Social emotional development includes self-awareness, awareness of gender, holds up fingers to tell age, answers where and what questions, uses 3 or more word sentences. It can play alone but likes company. They can start to be fearful of unknown objects or animals, take turns and begins to use please and thank you, and takes pride in achievements, as well as choose friends and best friends, develops problem-solving skills, and they can separate from their parents at this age. What this means is we need to provide ample opportunities for interaction with others, to hone on their accomplishments, further their interests, and explore unknown areas to them. Puzzles, colouring, dancing, fantasy play, reading time, and group play should all be on the weekly program. Start implementing rules and expectations. It is also important to include parents and community in setting goals for the child. Middle childhood. This stage, our teaching needs to become more tailored to the individual and gaps to be identified and closed quickly. We need to devise more challenging and diverse tasks so that children can learn new skills and uncover talents. Desire for friends and comparisons with peers can mean a storming period where social order is being established. We need to educate children about constructive conflict, anti-bullying, and peer pressure so that they can make the right choices into early adolescence. If I was to look back at when I was 13, I would have to say it was the most awkward years of my life. Not young enough, but not old enough, and every year just seemed to drag on. Why? I'm growing in a lot of areas. My emotions are heightened, being popular is important, but academic achievement was the authorities' expectations. I am sure we can all relate to what I've just said. It's a very confusing time for children at this stage of development. So, what should we do to help? Provide support and strategies to deal with many areas of life. Most importantly is to listen. At this age, children can think and reason, perhaps assign responsibilities and encourage initiative. Reward effort, not just for passing or failing. Assure them that they will come into their own skin and celebrate the individual they have become one day. You just saw physical, cognitive, social-emotional development for 4 different age groups and what strategies we can use to assist them in their growth. The question is, how much is any of those milestones due to genetics, and how much can be altered by environmental conditions? Are we all to go through the same experiences of development, or will we differ? Are these developments radical or incremental? Those are challenging questions that don't necessarily require definitive answers. However, as educators, we need to be mindful that both nature and nurture affects development. Surely we can conduct assessments to see how children are developing according to general trends. However, it is important to be responsive to diversity. We also need to be aware of quantitative as well as qualitative developments. We were all once children. What has shaped us to become who we are now? What will shape our children and our children's children? Here is a list of theories that will assist your understanding and practice. My favorite is the systems theory of development. I believe we are so complex and varied. Not one theory could explain childhood development. You can read about the theories mentioned in the book Child Development and Education. Thank you for viewing.